guys, I am leaving my house to go on a solo work trip for the first time. I have never been away from Finn for a night. I've only been away from Rue and Mo one night when we went to a wedding, other than the times I was in the hospital having babies. The anxiety is real. The anxiety is real. When people say, I am going to the HEAV Homeschooling Virginia convention. So excited to learn, to sit, just be. I am so anxious, but it is so needed. Let's go. All right, first stop, gas. Tell you what, it is 6:48 and the world is awake. I am not used to being out this early. I'm not a part of this world usually. All right, gas. Tell you what, this morning's sun, the glow is real. Just went into Wawa and got some breakfast. Sizzle, egg bites, bacon, and white cheddar. This is not what I was expecting they would be. I thought it was a sandwich. Hopefully they're delicious. What does this taste like? They're good. They're good, not a mistake. Let's go. This is going to be the roughest transition and probably the history of YouTube, but it's okay. I was on my way here, I got here and just got so immersed in everything, I forgot to keep filming. It is what it is. I am answering some of the top questions I got. I did a poll on Instagram and I'm answering 10 of them right here. I have my little notepad. I don't know how people sometimes do this and just look at their phone. I have to use my phone to film. Do people have more than one phone? I am in Richmond, Virginia at the HEAV Homeschooling Convention. If you have been following, you know that I am a former public school teacher and I am considering alternative forms of education. And I don't know. I am here slightly overwhelmed, extremely inspired, and no closer to a true decision because there is just so much information to consider. So please make sure that you follow along in my journey as we decide what the best path is to educate our daughters. Step one, not step one. Question one, do you plan on only homeschooling for our girls? We have 3 little girls, only for their elementary school years. The true answer is I don't know if we're gonna homeschool at all. As a public school teacher, I taught 3rd grade in a public school classroom for 4 years, and I developed information, I gathered information that I almost wish I didn't know, that the average parent is not aware happens in a classroom. And because I have that information, I cannot sleep at night if I don't do my due diligence in researching all the opportunities that there are for education, because there is so many more options than public school, than private school that we don't even know of. So that's why I'm here. I don't know if we're gonna homeschool. I just know it's an option that has its pros and cons, just like mass education settings that I have to weigh. But when I decide whether it's a hybrid solution, full homeschooling, or a mass education setting like public or private school, I will know that no matter what the cons are, I did my research for all of the options and I made the best decision for our family, and that's my mission. I feel like I can't make a decision unless I have all the information, and luckily I have 2 more years until I really have to figure it out. So starting early. Question 2, what kind of activities are you doing with Finn? Finn is our 3rd baby, the completion caboose, sweetest little end to our crew of 5. She is 13 months old. I'm not doing activities with her. I might engage her a little bit in her high chair with some ice cubes or some tape. She likes to play with the messes that Rue and Mo create with their activities, and that's all she needs. She is still very much just exploring, taking in the world around her, and that's enough to fill her cup right now. And if it fills her cup, it fills my cup. She's a lot of times in her high chair with toys and manipulatives. If the older girls are working with counting cubes, I'll throw a few on her tray. She is just manipulating, exploring. When it comes to children that are under 2, but truly like under 18 months, I focus on fine motor skills, the pincer grips, the grasping, the holding, the switching hands. I focus on sensory. That is huge. Different textures, temperatures, weights, that kind of thing. Obviously, they're taking in things with their eyes and sounds, cause and effect situations. If they shake a toy, does it make a sound? They're just exploring. So there's no planning, in my opinion, that really needs to be done with children of that age. They're learning completely on their own, as are all children of all ages. I just personally don't feel that the structure behind it is super necessary, and you can argue that the structure isn't necessary for any age. It's kind of just how I tick and what gets us through the day. 3, how to make a morning bin. I am in the process of creating a morning bin resource. There's 2 resources that are coming. There is one for children 3 and over, and there is one recommended for children that are under 3. Now, personally, I wouldn't start morning bins, structured morning bins, with a child who is under 2, but you just have to make the decision based on your child, what they need. I do make a morning bin for Finn just because she loves to be included. You cannot leave her out when she has 2 older siblings. So she has a bin that matches her sisters, but it's just full of different toys every day. Nothing that I plan. I just throw things in a box. Rue and Mo's are very much planned. They both include, and this is my guide. So when I create a morning bin, I focus on 4 different categories to make sure it's included. Fine motor, so that they're working their little muscles. Sensory, getting involved, working those brain muscles in different textures and everything I said before. And then cognitive, they're working on a certain skill. Number sense, letter recognition, all of those skills that they are working on for their specific development, their age range, where they are individually. Nobody knows them better than I know them, and I know what they need, what they're struggling with, and where they're going to go. Now, the 4th one is a book. Simple. With books, with these morning bins, I am striving to make them as independent as possible. It's so important for us as moms, parents, to have time throughout the day where we can get ahead, especially in the morning. So by making these boxes, bins, as independent as possible, I have a few minutes to get everything ready for the day so that I don't have to play catch up. So independence is important. And when picking books, I strive for interactive ones, sound books, I Spy search and find books, flip books for younger kids, sticker books, coloring books, that kind of thing, where they're not depending on you to read for them. That can be another part of your day where you sit and cuddle and read, but it's just not my priority for morning bins. So how to make a morning bin? I would use the guide sensory, fine motor, cognitive, and a book is where I would start. That's as simple as I can make it. Number 4, how did you and Jimmy meet? What's your upbringing story? Jimmy and I met in school. Jimmy and I both went to public school our entire upbringing. We both loved public school. And that's why I'm just stuck in between a rock and a hard place. Do I want to send my kids to public school? Knowing what I know as a teacher, but also my own experience, I loved it. I met my husband through it. I met so many friends. It's hard. Anyway, Jimmy and I first met, honestly, in 5th grade. We went to 2 separate elementary schools, but we went to the same after school care. We never talked, ever. But fast forward 5 years, in 10th grade, it was actually the summer before our 10th grade year, we reconnected. He was a football player, I was a cheerleader. We went to an event at our school where the football players were, it was an event that football players were at, that they were competing in skilled challenges, being timed. What are these called? Bench press things, reps can they do? How fast can they run the 40-yard dash? That kind of thing. Cheerleaders could sign up to time and score all of their events. I signed up, Jimmy was there. The rest was history. We started dating 3 months later, and we've honestly been together ever since. So our first date was my 15th birthday at the beach, and we've been inseparable ever since. So we obviously graduated from the same high school. We were in the same grade. I went to James Madison University to get my teaching degree. He went to Virginia Tech, got his engineering degree. We got married. We started having kids. That's how we met. We met as children, we grew up together, and here we are raising our own kids. So, question 5. I'm overwhelmed with messes my kids make and how quick they destroy the house. Advice. I've been in your shoes. I'm still in your shoes. A lot of it, what I can say, is a mind shift. I stopped trying to keep my house perfect. I know that it's not going to happen. I love thinking that if it's a mess, play is happening. Now, I will say, I just feel like there's some unnecessary messes. If they're just like pulling out bins to pull out bins and just like throw things around the room, I get a little spicy. But even that is exploration, sensory, touching everything. I just try to remind myself of that. But what I have done is started making things less available. I have a toy rotation system. I try to keep things, I don't give them access to absolutely everything. I have toddler handles on certain doors, like closets, where they can't get into my craft closet. They can't get into our front coat closet. I mean, just stuff, things that I store, loose things. I don't want them to get their hands on it because it's just a mess that doesn't need to happen. What I have started doing is just blocking off 15-minute times once or twice throughout my day where I do a 15-minute time task. The first 15 minutes of nap time, I set my watch for 15 minutes, I clean up what I can in 15 minutes, and then I move on. I don't want to clean all day. And there's really no point because they're going to wake up and destroy it all anyway, so I can use my nap time more productively. Another thing that I've done is getting outside more. There are so many developmental benefits to getting outside, spending more time outside. And at the end of the day, the less time you spend in your house, the less messy it's going to be. So keep that one in your back pocket. Another thing that I've trained myself is that I do not really strive to clean and put everything in its home until the end of the day. So after bedtime, I make sure that everything else is in their home, which brings me to the point, everything in your house needs a home, and less is more. I do a 500 item purge twice a year, so one mid-year. I'm about to do one. I'm very excited when I get home from this convention, and then I do one at New Year's. So about every 6 months, I go through the house, I open every door, every drawer, everything, and I get rid of however much I can. Everything counts. Pins that don't work anymore, paper that's in your wallet or purse. Go through everything. Everything counts, and my goal is 500 items that I get out of my house. The less you have, the less you have to clean up and put away. And then if everything has a home, that cleanup at the end of the day is so much more manageable. Number 6, how do you store all of your morning bin activities? Small house problems. I feel you on this one. Now I have these plastic small bins. That is how I provide or present their morning bins to my older 2. And I told you Finn has one too. But I don't have room for 3 kids times 5 days. That's 15 of these small bins. I don't have room either in my house for this. So what I do is I do plan all of my morning bins the week prior or the weekend prior and get all the supplies ready so that all I have to do is then switch out what's in their bin. Each of them has a bin, so we only have 3 bins. I switch out the night before so it's ready that morning. Now, my system right now is I have one of those 3 drawer systems. I have 3 kids, so it just kind of works out. All of the supplies for that week's morning bins, they go into each of those drawers. I'll show you right here. One of those things. And then it's in one place, so it's easy for me just to take out of their specific drawer for that day, put it in their morning bin, and then present. So that's how I do it. Number 7, as a mom of an 18-month-old, what activities do you suggest? I have an entire part of my website that is specifically for kids that are between, or babies at this point, that are between 12 and 18 months. And I have a whole nother section that is 18 to 24 months. So 18 months is right in the middle. You can decide which age range you wanted to go for your child, whether it's the lower age range or the up until 24 months for your child. But on each page, you are able to see milestones for cognitive, for motor skills, all kinds of information about goals for your child. Now, every child develops at their own pace, of course. There's a huge disclaimer about that on each page, but it gives you at least a starting point, ideas for how to promote each of those skills, how to meet those milestones, as well as activity ideas. I will put the link for each of these in the description, so make sure you check those out. Number 8, how do you do it all without feeling overstimulated? Feel like anything gets me these days. Now, I want to make it clear that I do not do it all. You can't, it's impossible. throughout this time, as I have been a mother of 3 very, very young children, I've realized I need help. We are lucky enough to have our village very, very close. We live 5 minutes away from each of our parents, which is wonderful, and they help. They have scheduled times. Like my parents have a scheduled time every Thursday evening where they help with the girls. Jimmy's parents help us whenever we need. So it is so beneficial for us, and we know how privileged we are for that. But I just wanted to make it clear that I do not do it all. I ask for help. There are days that we thrive, there are days that we are just surviving. But for me personally, what I would suggest is you write down and really pay attention to what are your triggers throughout the day. And then based on those triggers, adjusting your routine, adjusting how you plan and execute your day to try to eliminate those triggers. So for example, one of my big triggers was constant noise, background TV, kids music all the time, playing throughout the house, toys that were just on and they would go off in the middle of the night sometimes for no apparent reason. The kids bickering, them saying mom, 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 constantly. So certain things that I did was I just developed some calm. My goal was calm. So simple things. When we go into the car, we don't play kids music in my car. We really don't even listen to the radio in my car. We talk. We talk about what we see. We talk about there's a fire engine that just passed. I don't listen to kids music. We used to, and that was just another time where there was just so much noise. So we told them that it no longer works in mommy's car. Other things are I have structured certain times of my day where it is playroom time. You are playing with your sisters in the playroom, and I'll set a visual timer for 15 minutes, and I have 15 minutes where, and we have worked up to this, that they are engaged and I can unload the dishwasher in peace or finish my makeup or certain things like that. So my advice, long story short, is simply to identify your triggers and restructure trial and error until you're able to eliminate them. It's never gonna be perfect. Number 9, very excited for the morning bin resource. Yay, I'm excited too. I will link my morning bin resource in the description for you to check out. But anyway, what age do you start morning bins? So personally, I will start structured morning bins with Finn around 2 years old. Right now, Rue and Mo are working through my 3 and over resource. Even though Mo is 2.5, she is completely able to keep up with Rue, and that's what she wants to do. So that is what I am doing. These morning bin resources are complete step-by-step guides, full plans, details, supply lists, instructions, everything you need, notes, alternatives, all you need. And I am so excited for you to get your hands on it. And I truly hope that it helps to structure your day and get each day off to the best start possible. Now, number 10, last one. How to create a daily routine that actually works. Honestly, everybody's daily routine is different. I do not think that I can specifically lay out your daily routine for you. I can show you mine. I can give you examples. I can tell you what works and what doesn't work for me. All I can say is I have been trial and erroring for a very, very long time. Ever since I gave birth to Rue 4.5 years ago, I have been trial and erroring what works and what doesn't, and I will say it changes. It changes every developmental leap they go through. It changes seemingly like every week, and then each child, it changes. So I have 3 kids. So Finn is needing something different now, where Rue and Mo are still in the same routine, and it's fine, and then Mo needs something different. And it's just like these moving pieces constantly that you have to figure out. They're all changing, they're all growing at individual rates, they're all needing different things, and it's just a trial and error game, and it is going to change. So my advice is just to be flexible, be adaptable, have a fluid routine instead of a schedule. That is huge for me. We follow an order of events. We don't follow a rigid time-based schedule, because to me that's stressful. Other factors play into that too. Right now, we don't have to be anywhere at a certain time. My kids are not in school right now, but some things like how well did they sleep the night before? Were they up all night? What's the sleep deprivation level? You know? So that factors in. Did we start our morning later because we were up all night? Did we start earlier? And I hate if you started earlier or later and you're on a time-based schedule and it's like your whole day is crumbling just from the beginning. That is the worst feeling. So we follow an order of events, whether we start at 7 a.m. or 9 a.m., we just follow the order of events. So that is my biggest tip in creating a routine that actually works for your family. Anyway, that is the end of my Q&A. Thank you so much for your questions. I am going to get back to session number 2 of the HEAV conference today. Thank you for joining me in my hotel room, sans kids. I do not know what to do with myself. I'm like missing 3 limbs because I don't have my 3 kids. But anyway, thank you for joining me. Make sure that you like, subscribe. Tell me your thoughts and comments. Did this help you? What other questions do you have? I will be making a video every week. What do you want to see? There you have it. Until then, see you next time.